Welcome, everybody, to Real Mob Stories with James Proctor. And today I have my good friend and former partner, Lee Cole. I invited him on, and a couple of things that were relevant that I thought it made sense to have you come on. So I appreciate you saying yes. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm doing good. So we're going to discuss something pretty two major things going on. But first of all, I like to say one thing, James. You've been having a little issue with people talking smack about you, right?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really bother me because I don't let that affect me. That's just part of the reality of if you're going to be on YouTube, especially you start having some success, you're going to be the target of people. It is what
Yeah,
it is.
it is what it is, and nobody's listening except the little. Person attacking you has their own little group. That's the group that listens to them. That's the only group that listens to them. And then you have your thing going on here where you have 30,000 views a day. So I wouldn't be worried about that. And you're doing a great job, James. And James, does Angel Gotti tell you a damn thing to do on this channel?
No,
Does
no,
Angel
everything
Gotti
I
get mad at Does Angel Gotti get mad at you for doing certain things sometimes?
yes, she does. I
Okay.
mean, the reality of it is that, what I want to do is bring, and what I actually do is I bring history to this, I bring facts. Usually I'm pretty objective, I don't necessarily, shoot from the hip too much, I might occasionally, but, at the same time, I want to have a well-researched story, be able to get the facts out there. And we have a very smart audience, in my opinion, on this channel. And, it's up to them to make their decision, on what I say. They could determine if they agree or not or whatever they want to do. But, you know, uh, overwhelmingly positive reception to how the show's been the past few months.
And I appreciate. Listen, I'm leaving after this show, and I'm going to New York, and I haven't been in New York in years, so I'm kind of looking forward to it. But
Yeah.
thank you for asking me to come on, and I know that you, um, Michael Franzese, had something to say about you and me, and I just want to cover it because I like to say something to Michael Franzese, and it's not going to be negative. The reality is this, people. Michael Franzese has been good to my friend, who is James. Um, so I'm not going to be knocking him. Uh, would you?
Yep, and I
Would you?
haven't even heard this. Yeah, no, I agree with you. And Michael's been a gentleman with me. He agreed to do the interview, and he had no restrictions on the questions I asked him. And so, I came out of that feeling proud about the interview because I felt that we did get some information that we hadn't heard before, and at the same time, there were questions that Michael wasn't that comfortable with, but he kept his word on that. So, I have to give that to him. He's been very good to me and has kept his word.
So you want me to click on this and play it then, James?
Yep, I have not heard it.
Okay, so I'm just going to start it from where 1 minute in to yesterday's show, and it was yesterday morning, so it figures out that why people are coming after you.
Okay.
You're getting shouted out by the number one channel on here in the mob genre. That's the reality of it. So, congratulations on that. You earned it.
Oh, thank you.
Here we go.
Things that come with it. A lot of difficult things come with it. A lot of nice people. A lot of people that, make some comments that are just really not appropriate. I would say. Let me put it nicely and mildly. I give you an example. Not too long ago, I did an interview with James Proctor, and James Proctor and Lee Cole had a podcast together, and then James took it over recently. And he's a really good guy. I like him very much. He's a Christian, like I am. And I know as soon as you say that, the haters will come out and say, oh, yeah, you're a phony Christian. We get all of that. We understand that. No problem. If you're on this platform, you got to have thick skin. If you don't have thick skin, stay off of it, especially if you have a past like I have and there's some controversy involved with you. There's going to be people that like you. There's going to be people that don't like you. You're going to hear comments and remarks. Some you like, some you don't like. Fortunately, for those of us that survive and do well on YouTube, we have more people that enjoy what we have to say and the content that we bring forward than those that don't.
That's an important point, James, because you have you got these small shows going after you, but there's only a handful of people listening to those shows, but in general, the people that you have listening to you don't even know these other shows exist.
Yeah, I mean, no, I mean that you've got a good point on that, and and I thought also he made a good point is that you have to have thick skin if you're going to be on here, and so I get that.
And that's just the name of the game. But I told James, I said, James, this channel of yours has been conditioned to not like me. That's just the way
That's not true.
it is. There's things been said about me that weren't too kind. Let's put it nicely. Things that were untrue. But if you want to go with it, let's go with it, because I told him I would help him build his channel. He's a really good guy. I think he's good at what he does. His research is great. He tries to be very fair. He goes down the middle. And he wants to kind of change the platform a little bit, because there's been a lot of negative stuff on that platform. And I think that he wants to make it a bit more positive, just giving good information, interesting stories, entertaining stories, but informative content. And so I support that. I want to help anybody in this genre on YouTube that I possibly can, as long as they're not constantly going after people and knocking people and saying bad things. I'm not about that. For those of you that have followed my channel, you know that. I didn't build this channel, by talking negatively or by going after other people. I just don't do it. Whether I like them or not, that doesn't matter. I just don't do it. I don't think it helps anybody. I don't think it's attractive. I don't think it promotes what we should be promoting here on YouTube. That's just my opinion. But hey, for all of you out there that want to do differently, God bless you. Go for it. But James said, no, I want to do it. And I thought we had a very good interview. I really did. He's professional. He did a right job, and it went well. And, I have been accused of associating with people that, Michael, how could you talk to that guy? And, so on and so forth. And, they said all of these bad things about you. And let me tell you about me. I am, number one, a pretty forgiving guy. Number two, I try to take things as they come and understand why they're being said. I get it. And, I don't want to fight with people on social media. It doesn't make sense. It's kind of silly. It's kind of demeaning when you really think.
Okay, I'm going to end it there because that's his thing, James.
Mhm.
Unless you want me to go further on it.
No, that's good. I mean, I appreciate the kind words, and the thing is that this transition actually happened. I would say, Lee, we started being more positive. We started. When I joined the show, what about, I don't know, almost a year and a half ago, and so I think we're making those steps, and to me it causes, I guess we could get a more of a broader audience. I think that with the hating, the attacks, you'll get people that like that, and they'll get an audience, but it's, to me, that's not a way to grow a channel.
Okay, and I'm going to say something, and some people may not like this, but I really don't care because I'm not on the mob genre no more. I visit every once in a while, but Michael Franzese is right. I put up some mean stuff. I've done some mean stuff on here, and I learned, and I took it over to my new channel, which is doing well. And I'm trying to remember over there not to do what I did here. And I'm going to offer my apology to Michael Franzese. Anything I said about his family, anything that I said about him personally, I should never have done. Um, or I should have been a little more diplomatic about the way I went about it. Now, if I think that he is an informant, that's one thing. But to go beyond some of the areas that I went with him, I shouldn't have. So that video is no longer up. And here's the reality, and I'm going to tell you the number one reason that I'm doing this is because of the fact that you, James, he treats good. He's been very
Thank
kind
you.
to you.
Yeah.
And that's despite the fact that this has been a hit channel on him. So that's I am not sorry that he's an informant, or I believe he's an informant, but I am sorry about the way I went about it and the viciousness in some of my attacks. Sammy Gravano, I would never say that to, because Sammy Gravano is an animal.
Yeah.
It's obvious that Michael Franzese is not an animal. And I'm going to leave it at that. James, just say whatever you
Yeah.
want to say.
No, no. Only thing, I appreciate you, Lee, being willing to do that. I know that, you're one thing I could say about you, during the time that we've spent together, we've become very close friends. If you feel like that you need to apologize for something, you'll do it. You stay true to your word, and that's something that a partnership like what we had with this channel, that's very hard. You have egos in the way, you have a lot of stuff, and so the thing that we were able to do together, I felt was very special.
Yeah, we moved. It was Danny Trio, and then you slowly came in, and you took that stain away from the show, and you put honesty and integrity into the show. You have helped me to be developed as a human being. And that's what happens. When I came in here, we all know when I came in here what happened in my life. Well, most people do. And so now James helps me out on the wrestling channel.
Yeah.
And we're doing well. Last night it was me, you, Canarsie, who else was it?
Joe.
Renee
Joe.
and Joe. And what did they Joe?
Mm-hmm.
And so many compliments after that show.
Yeah, it
Many
was fun.
compliments because it was such a great combination. We talked about Vince McMahon and the Mafia,
Mm-hmm.
and it's amazing how many people love the show. And that show, my show's doing really well over there, and that's thanks to everybody that helps, from Renee, Joe, you, and Jeff Canarsie. And Jeff Canarsie is a very he's a figure that is polarizing.
Yeah.
And I don't always agree with Jeff. But one thing about Jeff, he is knowledgeable. And when he comes on
Mm-hmm.
to that channel, wrestling channel, he's knowledgeable. He walks away from the mob genre, goes over there, and he's a different person. People look at him different. And I'm not going to be a scumbag and attack him. I mean, he's been attacked by many people in here. They can all do that. That's between Jeff and them. I care
Mm-hmm.
about my show over here. I care about this show because this used to be part of me.
Yes.
And you're doing a great job. And
Thank you.
your numbers are wonderful. And
Thank you.
I just want to show, so you've been, this is what I just wanted to show, Jeff. So James, you've been being attacked for the last couple of days. Let's see how much it's affect your show. Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, let's see. So, since Sunday, you picked up 300 subs. That's when the
Mm-hmm.
tax started, right about then?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you, that day split 30,000, 30,000, 32,000, and 38,000. See, nobody's listening to those attacks, James. That's all I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
It's like people yelling to their flock, but that's all where it's going. And because you're doing a great job. And I'm proud to have you as a friend, and I will always be there for you no matter what. And
thank you.
this is I'm not putting this up to brag about your numbers, James, but your numbers, let's look at, this is it. Anybody can go there to Social Blade. You could check James' numbers against anybody. The only guy that consistently beats his numbers would be Michael Franzese, maybe Sammy Gravano, and Joey Merlino. And those guys are all ex-gangsters.
All right.
Okay. And I just wanted to put that up.
Yeah. And just a couple of things, just two things on that. One, everyone, please check out Wrestling with the Devil with Lee Cole, 3 podcasts. It's like I said, I'm over there a lot. We have a lot of fun over there. There's a lot of, you do lives about 3 times a week over there. And
I stopped doing lives in the mob genre because of how bad it was.
Yeah. But what I like about it is that the comments, just the dialogue, the engagement's more positive. And you have a lot of people. What's interesting is a lot of the people that are in your wrestling channel, they used to hate you on the mob channel, and
they're in some of these mob channels that still are negative toward me, and they still come over to the show because I tell them, I tell them not to bring any of the BS over. And if they say anything about anybody over here, I don't care who it is, I take it down or I tell them to be blocked because
Right.
I don't want any of that mob crap over there where people are attacking. I don't care who, if it's my worst enemy.
Yeah.
It's just not supposed to be done. And that's one thing about us, James. You don't do lives, and I don't put up remarks that people write, negative remarks about people, because I have a little more class than that. But I guess also didn't you want to talk about Berner?
Yeah,
Interview?
yeah. So yeah, by the time you guys see this, you know, you'll probably have already seen the the full podcast, the first episode with Berner and John Gotti Jr. But there was a clip that got released earlier today before we did this show. I thought it was pretty interesting, so just wanted maybe to play it and we talk about it.
And this is from John Gotti's Instagram, right? John Jr.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Press named a group of individuals the Colombo crime family. They named them. Okay. And
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I got to rewind this.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not-
yeah.
the right time, where they put paperwork. The FBI leaked paperwork during the Colombo War. Okay. There's an entity, the government and the press named a group of individuals the Colombo crime family. They named them. Okay. And there was a campaign going on in the streets. There were people getting hurt. And there was documents that fell into the hands of a gentleman named Joey Scopo. Love the guy, wonderful, wonderful man. And a guy named Wild Bill Cutolo, another good man, a gentleman. They came and see me one night, and they says, John, it's an emergency, we got to talk. We get together, and they show me this piece of paper. It was actually about 3 pieces of paper. And it was a 302 that basically said that a gentleman named Benny Aloi was a rat. What it said. They broke it down, said he was a rat. I looked at it, and I says, wow. So Joey says, you got to find out how the chief feels about this, which Joey used to call my father the chief. Okay. So I get a lawyer to go and to bring the paperwork in to my dad, and my dad reads it, and I have it memorialized, his reaction and my reaction. And at the right time, I'm going to walk it out. But basically, my father comported himself on the visit like he normally would do. And then he looks up when we're getting ready to go. He says, yeah, about 5 minutes, you're going to have to go. And I says, yeah, I'll be back in 6 weeks. He says, yeah. He says, on the other issue, he says to me, I says, yeah, Dad. He says, you go back and tell those fellas, that guy may be a lot of things, but Daddy's not. I staked my life on him, my reputation. Never happened. Now, that saved his life. That saved Benny Aloy's life. And I brought that message to them, and they said, okay. Turned out, it came out a short time later, that was documents that were leaked out by the government, fake documents. They would have got the guy killed. They don't care.
They don't give a shit.
They don't care.
Okay.
They don't fucking care. They don't care who kills who. They don't care. They don't care. I have video in Marion, Illinois, and I'm going to bring it out at the right time, where they put paperwork. The FBI.
That's pretty interesting stuff right there, ain't it?
Yeah, it really is, and and that is something that relates to some of the research I did on John Gotti Jr. too previously, and so yeah, I thought it was very interesting that the government would release fake information, and that was kind of what I went through when I was researching. We all know about the 302s and everything, but I realized that it was over a year later when Junior's 302s got released, and also they weren't supposed to be released. There's a guy named Otto did that, and I think the government did that on purpose. So
And look what it's done. Sure, look what it's done over the years.
They wanted they were going to either win by trial to get him put away for life or death. He actually faced the death penalty on one of the cases, and he beat every trial. And then they released the 302s. It wasn't recorded. It was the information was not correct either. A lot, and so it was a lot of it was made up. And so I think the point is that if they couldn't get him put away, they would get this release with the hope that someone from the street would just take Junior out. That's what I believe. And you see what happened with Benny Aloi. He was not a rat, and they put the stuff out there to label him that. So the hope was that someone would take out this guy. I mean, that's just
Yeah. And
horrible.
James, this is a perfect example. Adolfo Bruno.
Hmm.
Okay, he's the boss up in Springfield.
Yep.
He's in a restaurant one day. A Fed
Hmm.
comes in, starts talking to him in the restaurant. And Adolfo Bruno always had a good relationship with people that came up to him as long as they treated him with respect.
Right.
That FBI agent went back and filed a 302 because you have to file a 302 on any conversations you have with people.
Mm.
And so he went back and did a 302, and it made it, and then that 302 made its way back to the Genovese in New York, and one of the guys um, took advantage of it in Springfield because he wanted to gain in power,
Yeah.
and he got killed for a. And then when that FBI agent retired, you know what he said?
What's
He
that?
said that it was his mistake, that he should have never been killed. So
Mhm.
here you got an FBI agent and doesn't admit that it's his mistake until he retires.
Mm.
And because of this 302, Adolfo Bruno got murdered.
Yeah. No,
I,
I mean I mean that's just evidence there. So I mean that's why a lot of things that people talk about. Well, at one point, 4 years ago, they see a document, or I mean a post where I was critical of the Gottis, and that's what some of these other guys are bringing up the last couple of days. Oh, you were once a hater of
but it
the
doesn't
Gotti
matter. It
family, and it
doesn't
wasn't
matter.
even the Gotti
It
family.
doesn't. Those people that are saying that to you are the same people that praised them. I mean, it
Yeah,
doesn't matter. It doesn't
right.
matter. That's what happens. Uh, People change their mind. People. That's
Yeah.
just the way it is.
But it was
Um,
based on research. It wasn't based on Angel Gotti. It wasn't based on anyone telling me to change my mind. It was through, where I'm at with my knowledge of this genre of organized crime, all that stuff. I didn't have that knowledge 4 years ago. I
yeah.
got into this because of, what's funny is it was during COVID, and I watched Sammy Gravano's Our Thing. I was captivated by it, the first couple of
They were
seasons.
actually pretty entertaining, even though most of them were
Yeah,
bullshit.
yeah, right. With James Carroll. And I didn't know any better. But then as I got into this, started, watching, some of the other podcasters. And then I started doing my own research. And then obviously, as I became your partner, I dug deeper and deeper. So my opinions on a lot of things related to organized crime has changed. But never make the mistake. I don't glorify any of these guys that do that. When they do what they do that's wrong, I can't justify it. But this is the mob genre, so I'm talking history. I'm talking about what's going on. I'm giving perspectives, and that's not glamorizing, glorizing, or kissing anyone's ass.
But here's what it comes down to, James.
Hmm.
People that attack you at one time glorified these guys, and now they decide not to glorify these guys. It's like a total switch in attitude.
Yeah.
We are in the mob genre. Well, I was in the mob genre. This is the mob
Hmm.
genre. And then I love when people come in and go, but they were murderers. Well, what are you doing in the mob genre then?
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. And it's like, this is the main reason that I enjoy myself in my new genre. And I
Hmm.
know that I said about 2 weeks ago I wasn't going to be back on here, but you're my friend.
Yeah, and I
You
asked you to come on, and I
and you asked
appreciate
me,
it. And you've told
and
me no, you wouldn't come on before as
I know I
well.
did tell
So
you a couple of days ago. I told you that,
yeah.
and but you know what? We did this. It feels good.
Hmm.
So I appreciate you having me on, and
Yep. All
I
right.
guess you can close it out and go
Yep.
in the direction you want to go.
All right. And Lee, thank you again for being on with me today. And so I ask everyone to like and subscribe to Real Mob Stories with James Proctor. Also, please go over to Wrestling with the Devil with Lee Cole. It's like I said, a lot of good stuff going on over there, and I think you'll have a lot of fun. There's not drama. It's a lot of cool stuff going on, and it's just the beginning. There's a lot of stuff happening we can't even talk about that's will be coming down the pipe there. So
Yeah. Oh, yes.
so just please go over there. Also, Angel Gotti's got her My Father's Daughter, a Patreon channel. It's continuing to grow. Please check it out. Consider subscribing to it. And with that, that's all I have to say. And anything you want to say before we close?
Nope, I'm good. Like I said, my attacks on Michael Franzese were very harsh. And it wasn't on him. It was in other directions I shouldn't have gone. And I do apologize for that. But I don't apologize for my opinion of him personally, but I do apologize for the bringing other family members in, saying the things I shouldn't have said. And like I said, that video is down.
Okay. No, I really appreciate you, doing that. And I know he is too. So with that said, everyone have a great week, and I will be back soon. Take care, everyone.